Training Your Brain, a novel therapy for cancer survivors. It is not unusual for cancer survivors to experience symptoms comparable to those of PTSD, given the distressing and traumatic events that they may have endured. Even patients in complete remission are often plagued with the very upsetting memories of their diagnosis, treatment, etc. Researchers from the Marcus Institute of Integrative Health at Thomas Jefferson University aimed to evaluate whether a specific therapeutic intervention, called neuro-emotional technique, could reduce emotional distress in patients with traumatic stress symptoms by producing changes in functional connectivity. To do so, they focused on structures that have already been implicated in neurological responses to exposure to traumatic memories. The cerebellum, for example, is understood to play a role in emotional processing and regulation, especially with regard to negative emotional memories. Previous studies of PTSD patients have shown alterations of the cerebellum, either related to its size or activity. The cerebellum is involved in motor regulation, suggesting that an intervention for traumatic stress should incorporate the motor system along with emotional and cognitive processing. This study focused primarily on the functional connectivity of the cerebellum to the amygdala, parahippocampus, and brainstem to assess the cerebellum's potential role in emotional regulation and autonomic tone. They used neuroemotional technique, abbreviated NET, which is an intervention designed to help improve symptoms related to traumatic stress. NET uses an integrative approach that combines emotional, cognitive, and motor processing. It focuses particularly on autonomic nervous system regulation. The researchers enrolled 25 cancer survivors that met particular criteria and had experienced especially distressing cancer-related memories. To evaluate NET's neurophysiological effects, all participants received resting state functional MRIs before and after the intervention. Also, autonomic reactivity was measured using heart rate response during elicitation of the traumatic memory. The results demonstrated significant changes in the NET group in the functional connectivity between the cerebellum and the amygdala, parahippocampus, and brainstem. Similarly, patients receiving the NET intervention had significant reductions in autonomic reactivity. These conclusions were based on the experimental group's lessened heart rate in response to the traumatic stimulus. These findings imply that functional connectivity between the cerebellum, the amygdala, and the prefrontal cortex are associated with a reduction in autonomic reactivity in response to distressing memories. It only takes about 4 to 5 brief NET sessions to significantly alleviate emotional and physical distress. So in terms of clinical implications, the study provides a clearer understanding of possible mechanisms by which interventions like NET may work. It appears that the NET approach may engage the cerebellum to modulate both psychological and autonomic reactivity. Successful treatment using NET does not just make the patient feel less anxious, it seems to induce actual physiological changes. Even skeptics cannot deny NET as an effective therapeutic solution for cancer patients with traumatic memories.